Hi there, Johnny here at Anthony James Cars, and I'm here to talk about the Mclaren GT. This beautiful example is presented in Cirrus Grey, which is a beautiful pearlescent grey that has white highlights in the sun and pinky blue shadows. And it has a wonderful porcelain and ink blue interior. It is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous car. But I do get asked quite often, what is the point of a Mclaren GT? What is the Mclaren GT? It is by far the most overlooked and misunderstood supercar stroke GT car there is out there. And I say stroke GT car supercar because it does fall between the two worlds. It's typically Mclaren, it does its own thing in its own way. But I do get asked, is it a GT car? Well, the short answer is yes. And I'll go into some details and features shortly. But the main principal point I'd like to put is you can fit golf clubs in the Mclaren GT with room in the front. And as I understand it, you cannot do that with a Ferrari Cylindri. You can't fit golf clubs in it. And there are a lot of people with the supercars that do want to play golf and have their car seen at the golf course. So that limits the appeal of that, and it's the benefit of the Mclaren GT. But going through the space, it's an interesting thing. The Mclaren GT has 570 litres of space. That is the same as a Ford Fiesta, which is an odd thing to compare it to, and that is with the seats up. But when you bear in mind this is a two-seater car, it's actually a fantastic comparison. And people do say, well, it's a mid-engine supercar. Luggage goes in the back above the engine. Is my milk and eggs going to turn into an omelette by the time I get home because of the heat? Well, no. And that's the amazing thing with McLaren and what McLaren do. If you look at the massive, massive and very, very pretty pods and scoops here, I mean, this is a real feature when you're driving along in the rear view mirror, these big air scoops. And the long wheelbase means that they've routed the exhaust slightly wider. And this scoop here is to allow air cooling in, as long as the cooling of the engine, to allow the heat to dissipate, and the inside can only ever get to about 40 degrees. It's remarkably cool. So McLaren have done what McLaren does. It's seen the problem and engineered out of it, even to the degree that the material inside that you put your luggage on was developed by NASA. It is scratch-proof, waterproof, stain-proof, and it's believed to be indestructible. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But we always love these kind of wonderful McLaren details. But the whole GT car thing, people say to me, well, what's the point? Why not get a 720? Well, the short answer is price. The Mclaren GT is incredible, incredible value for money. This is a 2023 model year with less than 5,000 miles. I had a look at the market before I did this video today, and the nearest equivalent 720 for year and mileage was £199,000. This car is £70,000 cheaper than a 720. It's amazing value. So you might then go, well, why not then go for the sports, the entry-level McLaren, the Artura? Well, there again, 2023 Artura, same sort of mileage. I had a look at the market today, and the only one I could find at the entry price near this was £145,000. That's still £20,000 more than this vehicle at £125,000. The value is remarkable. So then you may look at traditional GTs. You may look at that front engine rear wheel drive that we all are aware of, and you may think, well, what about the Aston Martin DB12? Beautiful car, wonderful performance car. But again, if we go for a 2023 Aston Martin DB12 with similar mileage, you're looking at £160,000. It's still £20,000 more than the GT. They're just remarkable value for money. When you think that it is a 612 brake horsepower, 202 mile an hour car, it's got 465 pound-foot of torque. It is in every way a supercar. Engine revs out to 8,500 RPM. And what McLaren have done in the driving dynamics of it is quite interesting. They do say the engine is completely new, even though it kind of isn't, but it's got new pistons, it's lower, it's got new manifolds, it's got a different tune. The turbos are smaller, low inertia turbos. And it means that the driver is more torquey and more linear at low speeds. So if you're driving around town, it's lovely and calm. But then when you get to about 30,000 RPM, it becomes your typical McLaren and becomes a laser-guided missile that wants to headbutt the horizon. So it does do both worlds of GT and supercar really well. But then you may then go, well, okay, the Ferrari cylindries, huge amounts of money compared to the GT. We know it's great value for money. Could you get a Ferrari in the same sort of sphere? Well, I couldn't find a McLaren at this age, a Ferrari at this age that was a GT car. The only thing I could look at was the 812 Superfast. So that was 3 years older at the same sort of mileage, and that was £100,000 more than the McLaren GT. They are phenomenal value for money. And they in every way are a GT car. The build and design, McLaren spent thousands and thousands of hours in technology getting the noise and the vibration down to a GT quality. The exhausts have been routed to make them sound louder and bassier. Even the paddle shifts on the inside are aluminium, smooth brushed aluminium, rather than the carbon that you'd find in the 720s and the 600 LTs, to give you that lovely, lovely GT feel to it. And again, it doesn't have the hydraulic suspension, but it does have the first for McLaren, what they call the proactive suspension. So it kind of has an algorithm that works out what the road's doing before it actually does it. In every way, McLarens always are, but especially the GT. It's an absolute work of art. There isn't one angle that this car doesn't look absolutely beautiful. You can just walk around it and look at it all day. It is an absolutely beautiful car, but then that's what McLaren do. And when you look at all the details like the exposed carbon, the little bits of baseball stitching on the inside, the big scoops, it is an absolutely wonderful and I think a unique proposition in being a GT car and a supercar all in one. For £125,000, I just think they're incredible value for money. They are remarkable cars. If you want to know more about this specific car, it is available on our website. If you want to know more about a sale or return service or talk to us about your future car or what car you wish to sell, do give us a call on the link below. And all things being good, we'll have some more videos for you soon. I'm Johnny Anthony James Cars, and I hope you enjoyed the video.